So we got our little introductions out of the way. How you doing, Jason?
Good.
Good, man. You were one of my first interviews, man. When we started this about a year ago now. Yeah.
Has it been that long?
Yeah, it's coming up on a year, and I think in March.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. So what's going on, man? You prepping now? What's your plans?
Prep will begin March 1st.
Okay.
So last little bit of pushing the food and just trying to get that last little bit in.
Yeah. I've been watching your YouTube videos of your workouts, man. You
appreciate it.
Yeah, you've been killing it.
I'm trying, man. I'm gonna see how I can stand up next to the big boys this year.
So are you jumping into the open?
I'm definitely gonna do an open show. We'll see whether or not I'm gonna make the transition complete or not. I don't know. We'll see how I do. And we'll see where I end up weight wise. Like if I'm still close to the 212, weight, then I might as well, do a 212 as well. And, especially if I don't do so well in the open, if I'm still close to that 212, might as well. But I don't know. I'm just going to shoot for my best look, and wherever I end up, it's where I'm at,
Yep.
Hey, it worked for Sean.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Sean won an open show, and Angel Calderon won an open show. So
Yeah, man.
I don't know. I guess if I just bring my best look, come in peeled to the bone, and if I can have the shape and the conditioning, I'm obviously not going to be the biggest guy up there, but
But your conditioning is usually good, man. Now you didn't do it last year's Olympia. You did the year before, right?
Yeah, 2020. I did 2019 Olympia in classic physique, and then 2020 Olympia in 212. And then I didn't qualify last year.
Okay.
Hi, Jason.
Go ahead.
Get in here. Jason, hi, Jean-Pierre Fuchs here. I didn't have a lot of time to research you, but I'm very happy to meet you. Tell me a little bit how you became pro, and how kind of a little bit something about your career, how it all started.
So are you going to show pictures of me while I'm fat?
I'll find some good ones here, man. You're good.
So I actually turned pro Junior USA's 2017 in classic physique. And I did classic physique through 2019, and I'm coached by Chris Aceto. And it was very apparent that the prep leading into the Arnold Classic 2019, I just wasn't going to be able to make weight anymore. So we actually decided at the Arnold that I wasn't doing classic anymore, but I was already qualified for the Olympia that year. So we're like, all right, we'll still run into the Olympia, and that'll be my final classic physique show. And then we started prepping to move up to 212 after that. And then 212 went actually better than classic. Because I didn't even place at the Olympia in classic. And then the next year I made it back to the Olympia and got 11th in 212.
Jason, when you showed the pictures, there were two early pictures. I want to talk about that. Can you go back to the pictures?
Yeah.
By the way, you don't remember this, but I actually met you like 2 weeks after I turned pro.
Really?
At Dave Palumbo's house during one of his guru class.
Wow.
Yeah, I was like, I know you probably don't remember this at all, but I met you. It was like 2 weeks after I turned pro. He had his guru class, and we both were there.
All right. Nice to see you again.
Which picture, JP?
Yeah, go on, scroll through a little bit. Yeah, those two here. That one
right
arm up. Yes.
Right here?
Yes.
New York Pro?
Okay. When was that?
That was 2020. I got second place.
Seventh in New York, and
second.
I noticed something here. I always try to kind of, when I talk the athlete's approach, I'm not gonna here tell you for an hour how good you are. You get plenty of that. I want to approach it like we're in football and you dropped passes. I'm gonna ask you some things. I was just looking at you a little bit. I love this physique you have here. Yeah? Now, in the meantime, your legs are a little bit behind. What are you doing to fix that? Or am I wrong? You can.
No, you're right. They've always, the quads specifically, my hamstrings have always been more dominant, and it's always been tough to bring up my quads. And part of it's just the shape. They don't have that flaring quad sweep on the outers. And
But
my
they
adductors are
They
kind
look,
of
they look very good here. They look very good here.
They get deep striated. They get they're dense. They just don't have that round, bubbly shape. But I do think they've come up a lot. I've been really focusing on the hack squat more, and the hack squat has actually helped bring up my quads a lot.
Yeah, look at the big difference.
Yeah.
Even back there, that was 2016.
Mhm.
Like my hamstrings were always more dominant than my quads.
Your hamstrings are great. Absolutely. So you didn't change anything when it comes to like weights or frequency of training or just exercises?
I don't really do barbell squats anymore. I focus mostly on the hack squat, more progressive overload on the hack squat. And then after the progressive overload sets on the hack squat, I'll go to leg press and stuff like that. And I'll do a lot more higher volume on that stuff.
So obviously you're probably what, 260, 265 now, what I saw, is that correct?
265 this morning.
Wow.
So when you start the prep in March, you and your fantastic coach, and you don't really know where you're going to end up weight-wise. How you guys plan the length of the diet and when to compete, or you're just getting started and then see when you're going to compete, or you have a date in mind?
So the show I'm planning, that'll give us 17 weeks. And I usually we'll plan for that. And if at 3-4 weeks out, it looks like I'm not going to be ready, we'll back off and pick a different show. But usually I tend to lose weight pretty fast. Like I'll get in shape pretty quick. He usually has to actually feed me quite a bit throughout the prep until the end, just to keep me from not flattening out and like losing weight too fast.
Yeah.
It's been hard to maintain a 260 plus weight.
Wow.
I know how that feels. Yeah.
Let me ask you, how tall are you?
I'm 5'8".
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Well, oh, that's 265. Yeah, it's
No,
quite
that's good.
That's very massive.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, it's the biggest I've ever been. So last year into the off season, I was about 252.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're definitely.
And I
bigger.
was in worse shape. I was a very bloated and fluffy 252 last year.
Oh.
I think a lot of people don't even appreciate how hard it is to push the weight like that. When you're pushing new boundaries of your body weight, your body don't want to get over a certain weight, but I think we've all got a natural cap to what our bodies want to handle, and you've got to keep pushing the boundaries. I remember I'm a lot taller than you, but I remember struggling to get over like 280, 285, and I did some extreme things, and suddenly I jumped to like 320. But I know what it's like, and you can't do it. You can't rush it too much either. You've got to kind of push it as hard as you can, and then I think that's why it's good to actually compete, because then you get that rebound after your next show and you can push it again.
Yeah.
I agree with that, because I feel like if I took the entire year, I would just hit a wall. And also mentally, it's hard for me to stay. Props to like people like Brett Wilkin, who took 2 years off and came back phenomenal, because taking that much time off and staying focused and dedicated the entire time without having a short-term goal of like a competition, like that's very difficult mentally.
Do you struggle getting the food down?
What's that?
Do you struggle to eat all the food?
I was for a little while. My appetite's kind of come back to me, but the hardest one is just my final meal of the night, and it's usually just because I'm exhausted, and it's hard to go cook that last meal and get it down before bed. But throughout the day, I'm usually pretty good.
How many meals are you doing, Jason?
Just 6.
Right. And do you use anything to like help you stimulate your your appetite? Do you use anything to help you with that?
As far as like supplements and stuff.
Yes, any type of supplements or anything to help you eat more, basically.
I mean, I do take I don't know if you like MK677, ibutamorin.
Right.
It's I guess it's marketed as a growth hormone secretagogue, but it really ramps up the appetite a lot.
Interesting.
Oh.
I used to use an asthma medication called Periactin. When I struggle to eat, it's an asthma medication, but the side effect of it is that you just don't get full. Because I used to struggle like hell to eat as much food as I should.
I have asthma. I should probably use that anyways.
We came a long way from the first tricks I used to eat more from learned it from the Arnold book, My Life as a Bodybuilder, egg yolk and red wine.
Egg yolk and red wine.
Yeah, that's what he wrote in the book. So just on a big spoon, you know, souping spoon, egg yolk with red wine. And when I started to really get in trouble with like 20 pounds, so I used to do it. I don't think it did anything. And I think EQ made me very hungry. That's what I remember. EQ made me extremely. And today I know certain peptides, GHRP6.
Yeah, I was gonna say that one. Yeah,
that will really make you hungry. But yeah, we came a long way from the egg yolk and red wine.
Hey, do you know how many calories you're eating a day? Any idea?
Base diet's usually around 4,500 a day.
That's not bad.
That's not crazy.
That's not crazy at all.
But then, you know, I probably throw in like 2-3 cheat meals a week.
Okay.
Which are usually each around, you know, 2,000 or 3,000 calories.
All right. Wow.
Are you in any way concerned pushing the weight up like that there might be some changes in your body composition when it comes to symmetry of the hand? Or you think you're young enough that there is no issue in that?
That's something I pay attention to a lot. I mean, as far as like your waistline and stuff like that goes, I've been extremely focused on continuing like to train my abs almost daily throughout the entire off season. Milos gets onto me every time I talk to him about training my abs. So, but I've been, you know, pretty consistent with that throughout the entire off season, and it's actually helped keep my my abs and everything pretty tight throughout the whole time. Obviously, I'm full half the time, so my right now my stomach, my waist is still a little bit bigger, but it's not. It's actually smaller than it was last year at 252.
Good.
That's
You
good.
do cardio in the off season, Jason?
What's that? I do 20 minutes a day.
Right.
Yeah, which also does. That's another thing that helps keep my appetite up, because I notice if I slack off on it for a few days, my appetite will go down.
Yeah.
So where do you see yourself in the next 2 or 3 years? You know, you think you can seriously compete for the Mr. Olympia in a few years, or what do you think, how far you can take this?
If I were to stay in the 212, I think I could definitely be in the top 5. If I move up to open, that's a whole new ball game. And you know, I really can't say until I stand on the stage next to those guys and see how I compare. Like you already mentioned, my legs need to come up, especially if I'm moving up to the open.
Yeah.
So what's up with not to change the subject on it, but what's up with Guy? Is he retired or not retired? I keep seeing all these things about him.
I think he's retired.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know Guy very well, so I can't speak much on that, but
Yeah.
what I've seen.
Yeah, that's what I
he
thought.
had that injury.
Yeah, his quad or something.
Looking at my guy, Sistorino.
Yeah.
Okay. I did read somewhere he was retiring.
Yeah, he
don't know
announced
where I
his
saw it,
retirement after the last
Yeah.
Olympia. Did he do the last Olympia or no?
No, it was after Texas Pro.
It was after Texas. Yeah.
Texas Pro. He announced his retirement, and then just recently he had a slight tear in his quad training with Branch.
Mhm.
Oh.
Hmm.
How old a guy is he?
He's in his 40s.
39?
Or is he 40 yet or no?
I think he's 39.
39. Yeah,
Okay.
pushing 40, I think.
Yeah, still pushing. That's not, yeah, still got some years left.
Yeah.
If you want to continue.
He's had a lot of injuries though, surgeries too and stuff. So I don't know if he wants to do.
Yeah. Let me ask you, how old are you? I'm sorry.
I'm about to turn 35.
Oh, okay.
Prime time.
Oh, so you're just about hit your prime, man.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know the knees are feeling the squats more than they used to.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that goes with the years of training.
How many
Especially
days? How many days a week you training?
5 right now.
You
I
train
usually
5?
bump it up to 6 when prep starts.
Yeah.
Just mentally to keep me in the zone more. Just but right now, recovery is the main focus. So if I can get in there and I can completely, destroy it during the workout and then focus on recovery more than anything. I think in the past 2 years, I've seen the most progress just because I actually finally started. I used to train 7 days a week all the time.
Wow.
And when I started focusing more on recovery and everything, I started actually seeing a lot more progress.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize the importance of a recovery. I see guys, they train 6 days a week. I said, so, okay, you train 6 days a week, you rest, repair, and grow on the 7th. Right?
Right.
And they'll look at me and kind of, But I trained, I used a high intensity program that similar to what Mincer used years ago. So I train each body part once every 10 days, believe it or not, but I'm 61 now. But it's a high intensity, low volume program.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've dialed my volume back a lot in the past year or so, and
I was gonna say you lift heavy, man.
I try.
Yeah, you lift heavy. I mean, all the videos I watch and your postings, I don't think you ever have under 4 plates on the bar at all on anything.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't remember the last time I did anything pressing wise like with a bar, but I know the last time I did, I had incline bench, 4 plates for 9 reps.
Whoa. Wow.
Do you ever build in like light weeks or light phases, or you just always giving full speed?
I kind of go like if I feel like I'm just weak that day or something like that, or that week, I'm just I feel almost burnt out. Then yeah, I'll maybe schedule a deload week or a lighter training. Go maybe I still like to push it as hard as I can. It's mentally it's hard not to, but instead of doing the 4 plates for failure at 9 or 10 reps, I might do 2 1/4 failure at 20 reps or something.
It gives the joints a break sometimes too, which we need to do.
I'll get little things like tendonitis flare up or something too, where I'll back off the heavy stuff for a little while.
How often do you train each body part, Jason?
Currently I'm doing back twice a week, legs. I have a quad day and a hamstring day, and then I have one push day, which is like chest, shoulders, and triceps. And the second back day I do biceps with it.
So is that 2 back workouts because you feel like your back's lagging?
According to the judges, I always thought my back was the strong part, my strength, but they told me to bring up a little more lower lat and lower back density. So the second back workout is really more isolation work. I have one back workout where I go all out, like heavy rows, heavy, T-bar rows, heavy chest supported rows, like a lot of intensity on that. And the second back workout of the week which I just finished, is more isolated single arm lat pull downs, single arm rows, straight arm pullovers and stuff like that to really isolate and, focus on the weaker area.
Right. You said Chris Aceto's your coach, right?
Yeah.
Does Chris do your workouts for you, or does he just do the diet? Do you do your own workouts?
Just the diet and
Right.
diet and cardio.
Cool. Chris is a good guy, man.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you've
he's
been
the
with him
only
for a
coach I
while,
ever
right?
had.
Yeah, I was gonna
I
say.
coached myself all the way till through my second pro show. So he coached me for my first Arnold Classic, and we've been together since.
Hmm.
But since
I wish
then,
I
before
knew
that, I never had a coach.
coach me for one of my pro shows.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Well, what's up
Hey,
with?
Phil,
Go ahead.
Phil, you said you're training each body part, once in 10 days.
Yes.
You talk about now or back in your days?
No, now. It was back in the 80s, it was every 7 days, once every 7 days. And then in the 90s, it was once every 7 to 8 days. And then each decade, it became every 9 to 10 days. Now it's every 10 to 11 days.
Yeah. Hey, I'm kind of curious. I want anybody to or everybody to give me an answer here. When on days off, are you guys eating more or less?
I would say the same, personally.
Mhm.
I eat the same way.
What about you, Ian?
I would probably eat less carbs, same protein, but less carbs.
Really? Jason?
Which one?
I
Me?
find it harder to eat as much
Really?
on those days. I just thought I don't know. I guess I'm not in my same routine because I'm not training that day, and it kind of throws me off a little bit. But I try to eat the same amount. I mean, like we talked about earlier, that's the day you're recovering.
Mhm.
So, like, if I'm trying to grow, I don't want to deprive any nutrients while I'm trying to recover and grow.
I used to eat a lot more on my days off.
I do tend to have my cheat meals on my rest days, at least right now in the off season.
Mhm.
I'll get a little extra calories that way. But as far as sticking to the exact plan, it's a lot more difficult on the rest days for me.
Yeah, we used to call it hypersaturation days.
Yeah, that's what I used to do as well. I would load up on my day off and rest and just prepare for the next day. So
I eat more on my days off.
And
I also always take my day off, my rest day, after legs. So
That's
like
good.
it's always after my leg workouts. So
It's a good idea.
I try and definitely get the calories in there to help the legs repair.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you this: when you say cheat meals, what does that consist of? Is that more of the same, or is that really cheating? What's
You
cheating?
got any videos of them?
Oh man. That's
I've-
probably like 2 triple cheeseburgers and fries and a milkshake.
Okay.
Yeah, I've seen some of your cheat
Gotcha.
meals. Yeah, I don't see any on here.
Now, as soon as prep starts, I eat exactly whatever Chris tells me to eat, but I do give myself a little leeway in the off season.
I think cheat meals only make sense, to activate certain hormones if there's a pretty high amount of bad fats in it. Otherwise, I don't think there's any point of doing cheat meals. So
Honestly, a mental thing in the off season. I agree. There's really no real benefit of me going out and getting a couple of cheeseburgers and stuff in the off season. It would be more beneficial to just increase my calories with the proper food, but it's more of a mental thing. I know as soon as prep starts, it's 100% whatever Chris tells me to do. And so I'm just kind of, it's not the best approach, but it's a mental thing. Let me get a little.
I give my more cheat meal as we go, when they get leaner, mentally a little bit more worn out. Then I give them actually more cheat meals, but not at the beginning of the prep. Off season, I don't mind, I think it's good, but I still want to keep the cheat meals small, it's like a cheeseburger and fries.
Right.
I mean, also most of my people are not as big as you, so that means probably 2 cheeseburgers for you. But since I always talk about what happened to my physique and why in 99 it started something to change. My midsection got bigger, and the fats underneath over the organs started to kind of build up the visceral fats, and it was clearly the amount of food. So I'm very allergic of big portions, with my athletes. I don't care how big they are, and I don't, I give them cheat meals, but I always tell them, you know, don't. It's one burger and small fries, and if you start to take advantage of cheat meals, I will decide it for you. Because it's Jay, I think Jay Cutler says the same. It's the biggest enemy of long-term bodybuilding when it comes to your symmetry, physique is food, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I give them cheat meals more and more as it gets closer to the show, but not at the beginning of the diet, and very little in off season really.
I will say, in the off season, I don't crave the cheat meals as big a cheat meals as I do when I'm dieting, like, because I don't have the same appetite, you know. When I'm dieting, if he tells me to get a cheat meal, I'm so excited, you know. But like right now, it's almost more like, you know, okay, I'm gonna have a cheeseburger tonight, let's whatever. But I'm not like craving it all the time, and it's not like, if he allowed me to go all out and while I was dieting, it would be disgusting. But like if I went all out right now, all out would be just a couple cheeseburgers and fries, you know.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be anything crazy because my appetite's struggling to get down the good food.
Mm-hmm.
I think in the off season, when you do a binge meal, you've got to be careful, because the high fats in a cheat meal will actually slow everything down. So it'll make you less hungry, and it'll slow down your appetite. It won't speed it up. So, but I think the opposite's true when you're dieting, you know. So yeah, I agree with you there. I always, if you told me I could have a cheat meal in the off season, I really wasn't that excited about it. But you told me while I was dieting, I were all over it, just like you would be.
Yeah, and that's also why I'll only do it in like the last meal of the night. Like, because if I eat it midday, it ruins the rest of my day as far as dieting goes. But you know, I used to love pancakes, but I will not go have pancakes in the morning anymore because the rest of the day my diet's ruined.
Mm-hmm.
It's absolutely it's best to do it as the last meal. Absolutely. I mean, especially when you train a lot of bikini girls, you have to make sure it's the last meal of the day, or they won't stop eating all day long, you know.
Very true.
They won't stop, I can guarantee.
You also have to be very aware of what type of food that you're consuming too, because if it screws your digestion up, it doesn't matter. You do it the last meal of the day, you're going to wake up and you're still going to be full, and your body's not digesting it properly. Then it's going to screw you up. And especially in the off season, if you're trying to consume a lot of food, the digestion has to be on point and key. So,
like I said, in off season, I'm not big into cheat meals at all.
Yeah, no, that's the worst time.
Yeah.
Are you a full-time bodybuilder, Jason, or do you have a job?
I mean, I'm pretty much a full-time bodybuilder, but I do still have clients. I do personal training here at one of the gyms, and then I also coach. I have a good amount of clients I'm coaching online as well.
Right. Because the reason I ask is I know when I was competing as a pro anyway, I owned a gym, so I had a job, but I used to always have a nap mid-afternoon. I don't know if anybody else did that, but I always had what we call the muscle naps. And it was a way of recovering. It was a way to try and release more growth hormone, because when you're in REM sleep, you release more growth hormone. And it always worked really well for me. I don't know, do you do that, or do any of the other guys do that?
Oh my God, I use all the time. Because I was not a great sleeper, you know, partially probably because of the steroids. And then because I had this like 24-hour protocol eating, like I talked about it before, something I regret today. So there was a lot of sleep missing, and I took naps all the time after the first workout, after the second workout. I love napping, absolutely. But when it comes to not working, I very much regret that I didn't work, at least not longer, you know. So I always felt growing up that you have only a chance if you're fully focused on bodybuilding. But you know what I often did is either reading or playing computer games, just wasting a lot of time. And I think I could have had another career on the side there. You know, it only showed you know, that this is more than possible. It even keeps you maybe more focused, as long as it's not like work construction or anything like that. Right. So, you know, I gave up a lot of the dreams I had, like becoming a lawyer and stuff like that, just to be fully focused on bodybuilding. And I regret that very much. I should have kept going to college, work, and become a bodybuilder. And then maybe, you know, if you in the top 3 or 4 or 5, and the demand for you is so big and the possibility of making money, then you can maybe quit your job. But I always regret that, and I always tell my athletes when they feel like, oh well, you know, I can't really work. I have to work. It's a disadvantage. I tell them it's not truth. You know, you maybe even focus better working. And it's not necessary not to work, except, I mean, if you really can afford it, that's for most people, it's just fine to work. And I regret that part of my career, just to kind of lay around all day playing computer games, waiting for my next workout. I think that time would be better used.
But also, you didn't really, back then, you didn't have the advantage of YouTube and social media. So if you did have that advantage, I'm sure you could have used that time of being on the computer to making YouTube videos and making an income that way as well. Like people like today, we have that opportunity.
That is work. Yeah, that is work. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I'm trying to grow my YouTube channel. It's slow growing, but it's getting there. And then, you know, like I just said, I still train clients and stuff like that as well. But I agree. I would probably go out of my mind a little bit if I didn't do something, if I wasn't still doing something. So
Levroni put that thing in my head. I remember that, you know, that you can't work, but I didn't know that the guy probably had, I did 2 gyms and had a ton of money. So when I read in interviews with Levroni that you can't really work, you know, you have to kind of fully focus on the sport. So I thought, oh my God, you know, I was a few years behind. Oh my God, they work, you know. So I wasn't aware that I think he had 2 gyms in the Baltimore area. It was sure way more busy than I was. So the first few years as a pro, I was really doing absolutely nothing other than working out. So yeah, I wish, I mean, it would be interesting. Social media in the 90s, can you imagine? You know, with all this.
Yeah,
I mean,
that'd be crazy.
At my gym, they still post videos of you and stuff in the gym. Like all you and all the guys from your era, like they always have you on the TV in the gym, you know. So imagine if that was your YouTube channel that was getting all those plays.
Oh, I have 1 million followers, girl.
Yeah, we got some copyright laws going on there.
And can you imagine? I keep always saying Nasser in his prime and social media.
Yeah.
Oh, good Lord. You know, speaking of
his personality would have just gotten views like crazy too, just the way he talked.
You know, speaking of social media, there's been, I don't know if you guys watch a lot of podcasts. I do, just for research and stuff, but they're talking about Big Grammy. You see lately they're about him. Is he really a good champion? I guess he hasn't been posting much. He hasn't done many interviews. And, you know, I think Dave did a segment on him too, saying he's kind of, you guys think he's representing Mr. Olympia well? What is y'all's opinion on that?
Well, I mean, that question comes up with pretty much any Olympia since Olympia winner since Arnold, you know.
Yeah.
There's nobody like Arnold when it comes to promoting the sport. But I don't know how much he does over there in the Middle East, or if he's heavily involved there into media to bring the sport closer there. He's sure not doing much here, but it's incredible. But maybe I'm totally wrong, and he's really promoting it over there. I can't really speak for that.
Yeah.
But when we go back, I don't know about Dorian, but most guys did a pretty good job. You know, I mean, Ronnie, especially Jay, Bill, I'm not so familiar with. That was a little later. Most guys did a fairly good job, and I don't feel that right now with Ramy, but I can't be totally.
That's what a lot of people are talking about. How he just kind of disappears.
Well, do you think the language barrier kind of like holds him back a little bit?
That could be an issue.
Could be.
Well, that's just no excuse at all, because I had the language barrier, and it was totally my fault not to learn it. You know, you freaking take a private teacher, study English 3 or 4 hours every morning. So I was so lazy when it came to learning English. So it's one of the big regrets of my career. That's a lot of contacts I didn't have, you know, because of lack of speaking English. That's one of the reasons why I didn't work with Chad. When Chad was recommended to me, and I met him at the Expo or FIBO in Germany, where he was there with his wife, it was just too difficult to even go over there and have a conversation. You know, and in the German-speaking room, there was not much really coaching available, and that's absolutely no excuse not speaking English. And Same with all those wellness girls, you know, from Brazil. For God's sake, learn English. You know, this is like, I don't understand that every year in the press conference, you know, we're going to have to listen to 5 top wellness girls not speaking a word English. I mean, a big part of the sport is the United States, and you have to learn English.
Yeah. Do you know how active Rami is in the Middle East and like North Africa, for example? He could be very active, and that's something we never hear.
Well, you know, the Middle East, they love body. I'm sure he's a god over there.
I think he is. Yeah, I heard he was.
Even if he's super active over there, he could be, you know, portraying that on social media so the rest of the world can see it.
Yeah. Sure, he could do more.
Yeah. I was just curious.
It's also travel's not the easiest thing these days, but you know, he could at least be, you know, more active on social media, I think.
Right.
I think
it's also possible. It's also possible that this will be that you know, that year between 2002 and 2003, 2002, when Ronnie started to really get in trouble, losing against Gunther, and then trained with such a rage all year. You know, I mean, let's be honest, Rami wasn't very good last year, you know, I mean, compared to the first Olympia win. So I heard he only trained 6 months. This year will be totally different. He will be focusing 12 months on it. It's possible that he's coming back so brutal like Ronnie did in 2003 that there'll be no Nick Walker talk or so for the next 2 or 3 years. Maybe that's his intention. You know, maybe that's his intention. We have to see, you know. But sooner or later, he's going to have to promote the sport more, I believe. You know, so.
Well, I'd imagine being the champion, that your whole focus has to shift. I mean, if you want to continue to be the champion,
right,
you got to kind of, you know, put your nose to the grind and push. So maybe, like you said, he's just that he has this single track mind right now where he's just, I'm going to train. I'm not going to let no distractions and just focus on just being the best I can be coming into this, you know, up and coming new Olympia this year.
Isn't he with Tony Hughes' supplement company?
I know he was. I mean, I don't know if he still is or what. He was definitely. He signed him.
Yeah. Well, I know. Well, he never promotes his product either, so that's why.
Tony Hughes, is that freak?
He's not a freak, but
anyway, am I wrong? Is this guy who was on this documentary with Mariana Seller? You know, that underground steroid documentary.
Yes. That's him. Mm-hmm. He's over in Thailand.
You wouldn't call him a freak?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, are you talking about he looks like a freak or he's a freak?
No.
Okay, I was thinking like he looks like a freak. I'm like, no.
No.
Yeah.
He looks just fine, but he's not the guy doing this protocol where he injects those people all.
Yeah, I have other words for him, but I'm not going to use them on here.
Didn't he just have a heart attack or something?
Yeah, he did. Yeah. Well, yeah, he had a heart attack, and he said in the interview he didn't realize how much blood pressure had to do with bodybuilding. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. He didn't really. He says, "I know now that blood pressure is very important when it comes to bodybuilding." That was his comment.
Doesn't he go by Dr. Tony Hughes?
Yeah, doctor.
He's a doctor of law, though. He tries to tell everyone he's a doctor, but he's a doctor of. He has his doctorates in law because he tells everyone he's a doctor and researches all these drugs.
Yeah.
So one of my athletes was in that documentary, but he didn't know. You know, they just took some footage from, I think, the USA or Amateur Olympia, I think it was. So one of my clients, because he's a very good poser, they highlight him several times. He is so pissed. He's so afraid he might be in any way associated with this guy injecting his athletes backstage. So I told him, no worries, you know, not a lot of people watch that documentary. Yeah, that was quite something, that guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he likes lady boys too.
I've seen that.
Right.
What country did you say he was in?
He's in Thailand.
That's where they
Did he have to run, or why is he in Thailand?
Yeah, I think he did. It hasn't been officially said, but I think he's over there because he was being looked at here.
Wasn't he selling like stuff online, selling like steroids online and everything? So.
Well,
he was at the Olympia this year.
He was at the Olympia?
Yeah.
He was there?
That's all.
Yeah, he was there. He signed Rami before that, so they were there doing photos and like that. So,
I mean, of all the people Rami could sign with,
well, he
I
probably
thought it was
offered
strange,
him.
too.
Yeah, I'm sure he's got money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it had to have been worth it.
I think he
wow.
signed him and Dennis, I believe.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Wow. Well,
I
I
mean,
didn't know
he's
that.
been on. He goes on Generation Iron sometimes and stuff. I'm sure he's making money.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Wow.
He should have a very nice house in that documentary, you know, right at the beach or a river.
Mhm.
When he was in the United States.
Mhm.
Yeah, well, interesting character, yeah.
Yeah.
He's
Very.
different. He's different.
Yeah, very.
Bodybuilding's full of them.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's true too.
Yeah, I saw Melissa Bumstead's charges got dropped too.
Today.
Yeah,
I just saw that.
yeah.
Have any idea why?
First offense, and I think they gave her a what's called a PTI. It's a pretrial intervention, where it's kind of like I think they call it drug court,
Yeah. That's what I
where
heard.
it's kind of like an AA type thing. She goes and does some treatment, and then they'll waive prosecution.
Gotcha.
So
Good
That
for
whole
her.
thing just didn't make any sense to me.
mm-mm.
Like, I don't understand why they would have tried to bring stuff down from Canada in the first place.
There's a lot of
Well-
what ifs to that case.
Look,
Yeah.
look, that when I used to come here to train for the Olympia, I was very concerned to suddenly buy different stuff. I really was.
But I mean, they're down there surrounded by Nick Walker and Matt Jansen.
Yeah, I mean, I talk
But
about
like they couldn't get what they needed
yeah.
right there.
But in my case, I was very concerned. I didn't know really anybody in the United States other than the owner of Gold's Gym. I was very concerned since we had all really great products, you know, pharmaceutical products in Switzerland. I was very, very concerned to come over here and use different stuff. So I made sure I don't. But, you know, it's also the 90s, all before September 11, pretty much. I don't think you could probably send anything anywhere. You know, there's no issue at all. But yeah, you can't ship that stuff over borders. That's just not good. Yeah.
And the counterfeit market in this country was huge in the 90s.
Yeah, absolutely. And I remember the very first guy who was supposed to organize the stuff for me. He totally ripped me off. I arrived in California. I won't even say any names because he was a very well-known athlete. So as I arrived, he's like, and I paid him the money I had. And he's like, oh, I'm sorry, it was confiscated by the police. I said, well, can you give me the money back? No, everybody knows when there's an issue with the police, the money's gone, you know. Like, all right. So there I was 6 weeks before the Olympia with nothing.
Wow.
Yeah. So not pleasant. But like I say, totally different times now, you know.
Yeah. JP, did you watch that video I sent you on Sean Roden?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. What'd you think about that?
Well, there was actually, they knew about the heart issues for quite a while, huh?
Yeah, I didn't realize that, and I didn't know he like collapsed right then, and they took him right to the hospital. I thought they like found him already dead.
I mean, after the issues he had, it's kind of quite amazing that even with more medical assistance, that he even tried to continue. I mean, the guy really loved the sport. I mean, it's incredible, guy.
Yeah.
I remember when I had the first talk about my heart. You know, I don't know if I told you the story before. I was in the hospital for an unrelated issue before the '98 Olympia. This is some stupid Synthol-like injection. Yep. And 2 doctors approached me. They were telling me about that new heart machine they have to check heart capacity. And my heart capacity was a few percent lower. Nothing alarming, but a few percent lower than it should have been. For my age, and I was crazy concerned, you know. So I pretty much was the second last year of my career, but my attitude clearly changed, you know. So especially when they started to give me prognosis, what that really means for my long-term health, and that my heart is just going to throw many years away, and there is still some medication I can take now to do reversals and to make my heart smaller again, but that clearly my heart is many years older than me. It concerned me greatly. And he must have felt that too. I mean, there's just no way you can just kind of push this aside and say, okay, no big deal. Yeah? So I had no idea that he knew, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Do you guys see that, the video with Stanimal? Stanimal, is that who it is? Yeah.
Oh, was that his training, the one with what his training partner talking about it?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that they live together and stuff too.
Put it
So.
together, it's, yeah, yeah.
The whole thing was tragic, but yeah, it is crazy. He actually knew how much issues he actually had, and just kept pushing. And you know,
he just wanted to redeem himself after you know. After his
not being allowed to for so long.
Yeah. He wanted to prove himself. I'm sure.
But then, what also shocked me is that that him and Jim Mannion were this close.
Mm-hmm.
And
I didn't know that either.
Mannion, who pretty much can make any decision he wants, did not really ever overturn that, you know, especially as the case started to drag on.
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea they're close. I would have assumed they never talked, you know, after he was banned. And I had no idea they were this close. So incredible. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Crazy.
So far, you know, I only heard her story, her side of the story. You know, I mean, it doesn't really matter now. He's unfortunately gone. And we have to give him the benefit of the doubt, of course, he's gone. But I never heard his version really of the story. You know, I'm sure his lawyers told him not to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
Probably couldn't for that reason. For the
Yeah, but she was telling the story in detail. I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it would have been interesting to know. But you know, sometimes in those cases, I don't know. Jason probably knows best. Maybe both sides think they say the truth. You know,
mm-hmm.
So it can easily get out of hand. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
There's something else I was going to tell you guys.
Hey,
Frank,
go ahead. Yeah.
Frank McGrath. You guys follow him?
Yeah.
Do y'all see he's on dialysis?
Oh, Canadian bodybuilder.
Yeah.
I heard about it, but I didn't look at any information about it.
Yeah, no, I was doing some research on him today. I didn't know he was born with one kidney.
Wow.
Oh,
He competed all that time with one kidney, and now because if you follow his Instagram, somebody was, and I saw this message that it said he had a port on his chest when he was working out, and then come to find out, yeah, he's doing dialysis at his house. So I would imagine that means, I mean, if you're doing dialysis just for one kidney, I'm sure he's got to have a transplant eventually. That dialysis only lasts for so long.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I tell you, friend of mine, Don Long.
Yeah, John.
Mm-hmm. He did dialysis, I'm going to say, for almost 10 years. Mm-hmm. He did it at home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well.
He used to live here in Florida. I think he moved up to...
He's in North Carolina now,
Carolina now. Yeah, he's got a meal prep company now or something.
Right. Yeah, mm-hmm. Lifelong Meals.
Yeah.
I remember he was doing dialysis at home. Actually, we met in a dialysis clinic in Missouri when he was living there.
Yeah.
That's incredible. I did not even know that's even possible. A friend of mine was in dialysis. So he, after about 3 years on it, he had a stroke, you know, unrelated issue. So you can go for PD forever. Did he have to do it every day? You remember? I think
every night. I would say at least 5 to 7 nights a week.
That's what my friend did. Yeah. No fun. I remember I guest posted with Don Long, I believe in Slovakia.
Yeah.
What a nice guy he was. You know,
he is. Yeah, great friend.
Yeah, I worked with Don back in 2013 when I turned pro. Oh, okay. I mean, he's a top-notch guy. Don's a great guy.
Mm-hmm.
But he wound up getting one of his wife's kidneys.
He did. Right.
It turned out to be the perfect match. Right. And she gave him one of his kidneys.
Yeah. That's love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's real love there.
Hey, there's quite a few shows coming up before the Arnolds. Did I read that correct?
Yeah. What's let me see if I can pull the schedule up here.
Something Middle East, and then there's another show here, a big one. I've seen some people prepping there for the Arnolds who compete before the Arnolds.
Yeah, I think there's some out of like international shows.
Yeah.
I know there was just one last weekend. in Saudi,
Well,
the Saudi Pro.
Yes.
Well, the Boston Pro is March 12th.
Yeah, that's the week after the Arnold, I think.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's actually great to have a Saudi Pro since some of the Middle Easterners can't travel here. Yeah? So
Yeah.
Yeah.
A friend of mine won the classic division.
mhm.
Med Amin. He stayed with me for 2 weeks last year. First time I ever met the guy. Kamal Garni messaged me and said, "Hey, I have a friend from Tunisia, and he's never been to America before, but he wants to do Chicago Pro and Tampa Pro. They're 2 weeks apart." He's like, Kamal's like, "Can you take care of him?" I was like, "I don't know this guy." I was like, can you tell him to message me and I'll feel him out?" And I ended up meeting him at the Chicago Pro. We both competed. He did classic. I was in 212. And at the show, he didn't know what was going on. He spoke English, but it was broken. And they measured him shorter, so he had to be like 8 pounds lighter than he thought he had to be. I had to help him make weight, and like it was a rough time making weight. I ended up having to put him in a Epsom salt bath and give him like a little diuretic and everything. And we had like two or 3 hours to drop like 7 pounds.
Wow.
And then we got him. He ended up taking second place at that show. And then I just told him, I'm like, "Look, don't worry about getting a hotel. I have a spare bedroom." He came back. We trained together for 2 weeks and then went over and did Tampa Pro together.
Let's see. There's one in February 19th in Japan.
Wow.
That's the muscle contest. Japan muscle contest is what it's called.
Oh.
In Tokyo. Let's see what else. Did you say the Legends Classic? So what do you know? It's February 5th. Let's see where that's at. That's in Vegas. Yeah, 2022 Legends Classic. I think this is IFBB Pro League. Oh, this is bikini.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, there's a million bikini shows. So
Yeah.
Every weekend, and sometimes 3 at the same weekend. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this Japan one is classic physique. That's all I
So
see.
the Arnold is what, 5 weeks out?
The 6th, or 3rd through the 6th.
Yes, getting close.
Yeah.
You think it's sold out, or should I still fly in? I gotta check on that. Used to be my favorite show to watch, since everything was in the same hotel.
Yeah, it's at the convention center now, or whatever, isn't it?
Yeah.
In Columbus.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Never been to the new venue for the Arnold. The only one I remember is the one where me and you competed, Jean-Pierre. Where was that? Near the Embassy Suites in Columbus.
Yeah, Embassy Suites is all I remember, on the bridge.
Yeah, that's what I remember. Yeah, I remember standing on that bridge after one of the shows, and Henderson Thorne walked behind me, and he said, "Don't do it." He thought I was going to jump off the bridge. "Don't do it," he said. I'll never forget that. I think that was my last show, actually.
Was it? Yeah.
I loved doing the Arnold. Then I moved up to 212, and they don't have 212 anymore. So I haven't been able to do it since I left Classic.
That weekend with Ian was sure my most frustrating show, other than the 99, but I shouldn't have competed, So I remember I was pretty much, most judges had me on 3rd, and 2 judges had me on 8th. So one of the 2 count, they only cut best and worst.
Right.
So that got me just behind Vince, and Vince wasn't great anymore. So I didn't quite understand what the hell happened there. Now I know what happened. There was that first time where I couldn't hold diet, and I was doing this binge eating breakfasts. I was in shape, but my stomach wasn't looking great. So then I asked those judges, what the hell is going on? You know, why do you have me on 8? And one of the two, I will never forget, and she was right on, says, you're very pregnant up there.
That's one of the reasons why Chris Aceto and I have, for the past several shows, we try and fill up and carve up as much as possible the day or two before the show, and I barely eat anything the morning of the show.
Yeah.
Just so I can keep my stomach sucked in, pull a vacuum, and keep it tight.
Absolutely. Well, you know, now you guys are aware, you know, back then I was one of the first ones having that problem. You know, I walked on stage like I'm on vacation. I seen absolutely no issue, you know, till the pictures popped up. You know, even with a little bit of a focus, I could have really prevented that, because, you know, the stomach wasn't like that big. But there's absolutely no focus, you know. It's just walking out, hey, I look great, look at me here. Yeah,
we were the first guys that were really pushing the size too, that could really become that big.
Yeah. So
here's the here you go, JP. These are all the seats that are left. I don't know if you figure that out.
That's of no interest for me. The back there, no.
Yeah, these are $100 a piece. That's all that's left.
You have to watch it on the screen. Yeah.
Yeah. What's the price of the ticket? You say 100?
100, and then there's some bleacher ones, I'm assuming, that are back further than these, that are 75.
Okay.
That's what it says. That's for the Saturday night.
Gotcha.
Are they doing a whole expo and everything this year again, finally?
Yeah, it says expo.
I don't believe it. You know, it's Arnold's show, so if there's 3 more cases that month, he will scratch the whole thing.
Yeah.
I mean, and you know, the expo.
Yeah. Arnold Expo VIP tickets.
I would like to see that strongman show. You know.
Yeah, that's impressive.
I love bodybuilding, but honestly, watching the strongman and stuff like that is so much more entertaining.
That's great.
Yeah, they put on a good show.
So flying to the Arnold, I've seen the biggest human being I've ever seen in my life. Plane from Denver to Columbus. And it was a very small plane with only 1 row of seats on the right and 2 rows on the left. And there was a guy sitting on the right. I mean, his size was all the way over the aisle into the other row of the seats. And I could not believe I never seen anything like it. Yeah. So it turns out his name was Brian Shaw, you know. Who won it like 3 or 4 times in a row. So so then his coach was sitting next to me. I had absolutely no clue. And suddenly the guy looked at me and says, "Are you not the guy with the accident?" I said, yeah, unfortunately, I wish I would be famous for something else, but that's me, yeah.
Yeah.
So he said, I'm here, I'm Brian Shaw's coach. The guy was about 400 pounds more, you know, or more. I mean, absolutely incredible. I never thought that anybody can beat him, and then, you know how it is. There's always somebody better showing up till then Björn Thornton showed up, and beat him. So those guys are impressive.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, did you ever see the Netflix show they had on them, a documentary a few years ago? A couple of those guys. I think the Mountain was one of them, and Brian was one. They followed them around, showed their training and how much they would eat and all that. It was crazy.
And I saw those guys come in. I think it was the 2019 Arnold Classic, maybe. I don't know. But we were pumping up backstage, and one of the big metal doors rolls up, like where they bring stuff in, equipment and all that, and in comes all these just not even human looking monsters. And we're, you know, classic physique, we're all like, you know, it's a bunch of 5'6", 5'7", 5'8" guys, you know, pumping up backstage, and, you know, we're trying to look big, we're, you know, pumping up and everything, and then all of a sudden we're just like, you know, Brian Shaw and, you know, Hafthor Bjornsson and all of them just walk in, and we're like, you know, we're tiny.
Yeah,
like, like that's not going to pump me up before going out on stage.
Yeah.
And you know, there's no amount. Those are really the strongest guys in the world. There's no amount of steroids who can make you that strong if you're not a real strong motherfucker to start with, you know.
Mhm.
But that's just like superb humans. I mean, it's just incredible. There's no way you could have given me every steroid on the planet. There's no way I could ever have done anything like that. You know, I was a bodybuilder, you know, a strong bodybuilder. That's about it. But I remember when I used to do bench press and deadlift, you know, the competitions when I was young. And, you know, the only reason I did it is there was no competition. You could win 4 trophies in one weekend. So I thought, okay, I can show my 4 trophies. Okay? So that all worked very well till I was about 21.
Mhm.
And then, you know, some fat guys started to show up. In my view, fat guys, you know, which is pushing 3 times my weight. Okay? So, yeah. Incredible stuff, those guys. And, you know, I became kind of friends for a short time with, what's his name? The first guy pressing 1,000 pounds on the bench. He had a little gym here in LA and he taught me how to bench press. And yeah, incredible.
Wow.
Just couldn't imagine getting under 1,000 pounds on a bench press.
It's crazy.
Under anything.
I mean, you know, without the shirt, the world record never changed much in the last 30 years.
Mhm.
There was this guy, Ted Arcidi, I think he was the first guy doing 300 kilo, and it's still not much more now. And we had some heated discussions about that shirt stuff. You know, of course, I was totally against it, and he explained to me why this is a good thing, and every sport has to perform. So then when they put them into those shirts, you know, you ever see them walking? They cannot even get their arm.
Yeah.
So
It takes a few hundred pounds just to be able to get the bar to your chest.
Wow.
you need 2 45-pound plates just to lower the bar.
Mhm.
You know?
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
say to him, what was his name? It's quite 20 years now. I said to him, how can you guys ever have kind of go Olympic or become more famous to a broader population when you walk around like clowns, you know, like packed into a freaking shirt?
Mhm.
So yeah, of course, he's seen this totally different. And then I trained this semi-professional female football player, and he explained to me how to work her out. So you live in the gym 3 hours and do almost nothing just to take that stupid thing on and off. You know, it takes like 15 minutes
To do 1 rep.
I've seen 2 people help a guy get a shirt on once.
Oh yeah.
2 people
Yeah.
could get it on it.
I gotten so tired of training her, you know, so.
Yeah.
I was surrounded by powerlifters and strongmen when I came up. You know,
I started out powerlifting.
You know, Andy Bolton is. You heard of that name?
Yeah, I've heard of it.
He used to train at my gym in Leeds. I've known Andy since I was a kid. He was the first guy to deadlift 1,000 pound, I believe, at the Arnold one year.
Wow.
Yeah, I was surrounded by him. In fact, the guy that got second to Dorian and then got second to me at the British Championships, a guy called Gary Taylor. He won the world. He won the world's strongest man right after he competed against me.
I remember him, Ian.
And then another bodybuilder from England, Eddie Elwood, who won, I think, 7 or 8 NABA Universe titles. He went into strongman.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I've been surrounded by strongmen my whole life.
I remember those guys.
You remember Kurt Kowalski? I think he was the Polish guy. Yeah, he was a strong man.
Is that the one who's fighting now?
No, that's somebody different. No, this guy, he was big in the 90s.
Right. No, I can't remember that name.
There was a Czechish guy, I think from Czechoslovakia. He won like 4 years in a row, the strongman. He died very young, but he looked like a bodybuilder.
What was his name? JP?
You don't mean John Paul Sigmason, do you?
No, he was an Eastern European name, not a Scandinavian name. So yeah, he looked like a bodybuilder. He even did some bodybuilding competitions before, and you just couldn't beat him. Even guys twice his size couldn't beat him. He won like 3 or 4 years in a row, and then died very, very young.
What country again?
Czechoslovakia, somewhere up there.
I'm thinking about the guy from Poland.
Poland, is possible that he's Poland.
What was his name?
Janowski.
Looked like a body. Looked like a bodybuilder.
Yes.
What was his name?
Yeah, he's doing MMA now.
Yeah, he's fighting now. He's still around. Yeah.
Oh, is he still around?
Yeah, he's
he
healthy.
is. Yeah.
Who would fight him?
Not me. Not me.
He really did look completely different than any other like strongman you'd seen though. Like he always had definition, just like he looked
Right.
like a bodybuilder. It was crazy.
Krudenowski or something like that, right?
Yeah, Marius Krudenowski.
I found the Marius Kucinowski.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Freak. What a freak.
He looked like a bodybuilder, yeah.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah, he's still alive though.
Wow.
Is he?
Yeah, Pujanowski's still alive. He's actually I think he's doing MMA fighting now, right?
Yeah,
right,
wow.
right, Ian?
Yeah, I think so. I'm looking here.
Yeah.
Those were the years where I first started getting into actually watching like all the strongman and stuff like that was
I
when
don't
he was
see it.
competing.
Well, you're right.
Yeah.
He's an MMA fighter with a 6'3" record. Has a master's degree in international relation.
Wow.
That's quite impressive.
Very much so.
Yeah, guy's a beast for sure.
Mhm.
Wow.
Mhm. Here, this is Kurt. I can't believe you guys never heard of Kurt Kowalski, the captain.
The captain.
Mhm.
Here he is, right here.
Ooh,
That's a
no.
big dude.
That's a big dude.
Yeah, he's called the captain. He's a Polish guy.
Wow, do you see those legs? That's like
Yeah.
tough stuff, huh?
I'll start it from the beginning. 810-pound deadlifts.
Wow.
Sheesh.
Yeah, he's thick.
Oh, he was a monster, man.
Jeez.
How tall is he? Do you know?
I don't know. I don't even know if he's still alive. I need to. Crazy.
Boy.
Yeah. Impressive. Whoa.
Did you see Joe Mackey pulling 800 something pounds recently? He just pulled it for reps. Yeah, just recently he hit 800 something pounds for reps, and he's, I think he's in his off season right now, but he's not fat by any means. He's in good shape, and that's a strong dude right there. He's one of the strongest IFBB pros right now, I think.
So what's everybody's best in the deadlift here?
That's never been my best lift.
Mhm.
Actually, I pulled 2 for 605, but I have very long arms for a
Mm.
guy 5'6.5".
I pulled 800 off the ground for a single. Yeah.
Mhm.
Wow.
I don't think I've ever gone for like a one rep max. No, at least not in the past like 10 years. I was doing deadlifts pretty regularly. I think I hit 6 plates aside for 9 reps.
Wow.
It wasn't my intention to do one. That's all I was good for though. It's just like
That would be my 1 rep max if it just happens that way.
Never
It
did.
was weird on prep. I actually started getting stronger. Like coming up on like 3 weeks out, I hit like 5 plates aside for like 14 reps.
Wow.
Ian, what about you?
I wasn't expecting to do that, so I didn't mean to do 14 reps, but I just kept going.
Ian never did deadlifts. He just did rack pulls. That's all
He
he
just
did.
did, I was going to bring it up.
I knew that was coming. I did stiff legged deadlifts. I was strong on stiff legged. I could do 6 plates aside for stiff leg for a dozen reps. I never did regular deadlifts. It was always stiff legged with me.
I've gone 5 plates for stiff leg, but I've never gone heavier than that.
I got long arms, man. They got longer by doing that.
Oh, they would.
Ian, did you ever see Dorian in the gym when you were over there training? Did he ever show up and work out at all?
No, Dorian only trained at his own gym.
Yeah.
In fact, I was quite honored because Dorian traveled to see me in seminar once, and Dorian didn't travel to see anybody in seminar.
Yeah.
I'll never forget when Sean Ray and Tonya Knight came to Birmingham, and they were doing a seminar or like a signing somewhere. And Dorian must have been walking past because he lived in Birmingham. He went in, and Sean Ray said to him, "Oh, thanks for coming to see me." He said, "I didn't." He said, "I just live around the corner. I was just walking by." I was dying for you.
And he was probably right. He was being honest.
Oh, I guarantee he was
Yeah.
right. I guarantee you never,
Yeah,
never
yeah.
But he actually travelled to see me in a seminar right before my pro debut at the Night of the Champions in '93, I think. So I was quite honoured that he did that.
Yeah.
Sean did a guest posing with me in my end. You know, in my world, it was in Western Austria, deep mountains. So I was 3 times his size, and the people who were watching the show, he had no idea about bodybuilding. So he had to explain to everybody that he's really a better bodybuilder than me. So Sean, nobody cares here, you know.
Sean said that, really?
Oh, he was. He was explaining to people in English. Nobody understood the word, you know, that he's a really much better bodybuilder than me, which I agree he is, you know. But nobody cared in the mountains of Austria. It's just I was 3 times bigger than him, so I was better.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah, that's all they cared about.
No ego there, right?
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Yeah, I don't have anything else, man. Jason, thanks for coming, bro.
Hey, appreciate you having me.
Yeah,
it's
man.
Nice to meet you, Jason.
good to meet
Yeah,
everybody.
pleasure to meet you. Good luck in the coming months.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
yeah.
Yeah,
When you get closer to the Olympia, 'cause I know you're going to qualify, so
That's the goal.
we'll have you back on again.
I was pretty bummed last year, to be honest with you, after being at the Olympia twice and then not making it back last year.
I was rooting for you, man. I was watching. I said, "Oh man, I saw you didn't qualify." I was like, "Damn it."
Now, were a lot of the shows canceled last year because of COVID?
Not the ones I was doing. I waited. There was only 3 shows. I did Chicago and Tampa, and then I decided at the last minute not to go to Texas because I didn't have enough points anyways. I would have had to have won Texas, and I thought it was better to just start my off season and
Right.
come in this year with a new and improved package rather than having another short off season and coming up back with small improvements. But I really want to come back this year with something different for the judges.
Let me ask you this real quick. How many shows do you think you can do a year? What would be the maximum amount of shows that you would do a year?
Once I get going, I'm usually pretty good. Like I've done 5-6 shows
Wow.
in a year, and I was probably my best in about the 4th show of the year.
Okay.
I think actually the year I did the 2020 Olympia, I did Tampa, New York, Chicago, and the Olympia. I did at least, I thought there was one more in there, but I did at least 4 shows that year. But I think, I don't think the Olympia was my best. I think I don't know. I looked like I was holding a little water or something at that show, but New York and Chicago were definitely my best I'd ever been. So I'm excited. And that New York Pro picture that we pulled up earlier, I got 2nd place there. I was only 200 pounds on stage.
Oh wow!
So this past year, when I did Tampa, I was 207 on stage, and much better, much harder, much more conditioned.
Air conditioned.
So I went up 7 pounds and came in better conditioning. So I'm hoping if I can repeat, and that was only with a 3-month off season. So I'm hoping if I can repeat and get another 7-8 pounds, and still bring in even better conditioning. If I'm gonna be in the 212, I definitely need to, like, at my height, 5'8", I need to be weighing in right at 212 and then like carb up to 215 to
Yeah, going over. Right.
Cool. All right, bro. Well, good luck to you, man.
I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
All right.
But
All right, guys.
All right, buddy.
We'll holler at y'all later.
All right, guys.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Take care.